Yeah, first of all, actually, it's a real pleasure to be here at Mobile World Congress in Barcelona, and that too in front of VMware booth. And it's good to be partnering with Kaniz. So Kaniz and I have been actually working together, and I'm actually supporting Kaniz in the Open Grid Alliance. And we live in the era of distributed computing, and here we've seen actually a lot of buzz about 5G this year. The virtualization of RAN and edge computing. And so when I actually think about edge computing, there's really three big tenets that we are trying to drive. So it's about composability of applications, because when we look at the modern applications, whether it's autonomous driving or immersive media, content delivery networks, a lot of like video related services, it becomes really important to be able to deliver the performance, the lower latency, and the quality of service that's required for these applications. And you can no longer actually do this in a transactional manner, implementing everything in the cloud. So for these applications, it's really necessary that we bring cloud closer to where the application is, which is what we refer to as the edge. And Open Grid Alliance is really about how we actually deliver that experience that's required for these modern applications at the edge. Of course, Intel provides all the compute building blocks and the platforms that are required for these modern applications, which really marry the compute and communications together. So it's really about how do we provide the performance, the lower latency, the quality of experience that's and the platform components needed, from CPU to the accelerators, to the network components, to the FPGAs, that are able to deliver the experience that's needed for these applications at the edge. And so that's what we are focused on. But even going one level further beyond the hardware, it's really going to be about software. And how do we disaggregate the software? How do we provide the layers of software in a disaggregated fashion that's required for this distributed computing revolution? And so that's what I'm excited about. And as Intel, we are actually looking at not just the hardware, but also the software layers in a cloud-native manner that would actually provide that experience that's required for the new age applications at the edge. And to me, actually, Open Grid Alliance, I really like the vision, because that actually delivers to the key tenets of what's going to be required over the next decade of how we actually make edge real.
Thank you very much to Rajesh for aligning us with the vision. Rajesh and I, we've been working together in the industry in many other forums, and it's delighted to have them onboarded with OGA. He brings up the issue of complexity, and the complexity arises from the very different nature of the edge. It's basically, it enables distribution of applications. It brings together heterogeneity, and it distributes the workloads at multiple geographical locations. So the distribution and heterogeneity are the two challenges which result in complexity. Now, if you take a deeper look at heterogeneity and distribution, and if you look at VMware, virtualization in our DNA and abstraction in our DNA, that's basically our forte. Bringing heterogeneous entities together in a distributed logical construct is what VMware core value is, and that's how we are establishing the foundation for the OGA. So the underpinning platform for the OGA will be based on hypercomposed applications. And hypercomposed applications are basically does not rely on the edge to be in one static location, does not rely on the compute or the connectivity fabric to be provided by one particular provider. It's basically bringing in the right amount of resources with the right type in the right place at the right time, as and when needed by the application, driven by the SLA of the application. So it's in the dynamism of how I create the application. It's in the fungibility of the edge, how I distribute it, and the optimization across multiple providers enabling those applications is how we address the complexity. If you were to ask me what would be the ultimate end ambition with the grid basically should be able to connect multiple connectivity elements all around the globe in a homogeneous fabric. Just like you have the utility plumbing coming, the water utilities coming to my home, and I turn on the faucet and the water flows. I would like connectivity and compute to become a commodity and utility in the same sense. I, as an application developer or a consumer, as an enterprise, have a need to stitch an application, and I flip a button and I get the container on which to host the workload. Simple as that. So that's the ambition. We are fortunate to have partners like Intel, Dell Technologies, Vapor.io, that will be providing different elements of the glue that brings these connectivity and compute elements together in a logical construct that distributes across the globe. So that's the vision.
Yeah, so Deutsche Telekom can support the grid in a number of different ways, just like we supported the creation of the internet for the last many years. We have a lot of data centers and locations scattered throughout our footprint, and those data centers can be involved to host edge locations. We can also perform interconnects. We have a fiber network running all over the country, and we're going to be able to connect those edge data centers together to form the grid.